There is a point where boundaries stop being something spoken and become something practiced. Not every relationship gets access to the whole self. Not every person gets access to emotional vulnerability, spiritual processing, psychological insight, family dynamics, romantic desire, financial plans, creative strategies, sexual energy, or private tenderness. Some conversations have to be moved into lower access categories. General conversation, public information, food, health, world affairs, gardening, surface level creativity, business in broad terms, or simple listening. That is not coldness. That is classification. Access has to be earned by comfort, reciprocity, respect, investment, emotional safety, and present tense care. History does not earn it. Longing does not earn it. A title does not earn it. Love does not automatically earn it either. Love is not the same as access. Love can exist long after a relationship has ended. Love can exist after a door has closed. Love can exist without another chance being offered. Love can simply be present as a fact of the heart, without becoming a reason to reopen the body, the mind, the spirit, or the private room. This is where many people get caught. They confuse love with permission. They confuse love with obligation. They confuse love with availability. But love by itself is not enough to sustain a relationship that lacks reciprocity, safety, repair, respect, and investment. People have done terrible things in the name of love. People have stayed too long in the name of love. People have given away too much in the name of love. So love cannot be the only measure. A strong mind learns to separate love from access. When a person decides a certain kind of conversation or a way of being is no longer something they embody, the nervous system has to be trained into this new way of being. This is how new neural pathways are created. The boundary can be first named, written, spoken, studied, metabolized, alkalized, embodied, and transcended. Then the body begins to understand it. Then the old reaction does not rise as quickly. Then the old door does not open as easily. Then silence becomes possible where one can hear the self and solidify this new neural pathway. And this is where non-participation becomes natural. Conversations may still happen, but the old self is no longer the one answering or responding. There may be many moments when someone tries to enter the old terrain of emotional vulnerability, sexual memory, family pain, family experiences, spiritual life, psychological processing, romantic desire, or creative intimacy. Whereas in the past, it may have created a reaction. It may have opened up a debate. It may have pulled out an explanation. It may have activated longing, defensiveness, hope, pain, the need to be understood. But when that boundary has become embodied, there is nothing to argue about. There is nothing to debate about. There is nothing to revisit. The topic simply is not allowed access. At some point, the self stops negotiating against its own knowing. One can still listen without being available. One can still be warm without being open. One can still care without giving private access. One can still love without returning to the old way of being. This is a mature distinction. General contact is not intimacy. Listening is not surrender. Silence is not confusion. Calm is not weakness. Refusal does not always have to announce itself. Sometimes the most powerful boundary is not a dramatic ending. It is a quiet relocation of access, where certain subjects become unavailable. Certain versions of the self die or retire. Certain forms of generosity are redirected, and certain conversations become observations rather than a participation. And this is where discernment becomes a discipline. When generosity rises, the question is no longer, do I feel moved to give? The deeper question becomes, has this person honored what was already given? Have they reciprocated? Have they protected the sacredness of what they've received? Have they shown care? Have they earned more? It is the moment when the self no longer confuses love with permission, history, substance, longing with investment, or conversation with intimacy. But time is not proof of depth. Time is not proof of care. Time is not proof of investment. Time can pass inside a relationship that never became fully rooted. One has to stop pouring sacred energy into a vessel that has not learned to pour it back. And when the self stops confusing time with sustenance, the old agreement dissolves. The energy that once went into waiting, explaining, hoping, the calm